Thank you for downloading this in-ear entertainment podcast. You're listening to Shakespeare's Sonnets. Sonnet 42. That thou hast her, it is not all my grief, and yet it may be said I loved her dearly. That she hath thee is my wailing chief, a loss in love that touches me more nearly. Loving offenders thus, I will excuse ye. Thou dost love her, because thou know'st I love her. And for my sake, even so doth she abuse me, suffering my friend for my sake to approve her. If I lose thee, my loss is my love's gain, and losing her, my friend hath found that loss. Both find each other, and I lose both twain, and both for my sake lay me on this cross. That was wrong. And both for my sake on me this cross. And both for my sake lay on me this cross. But here's the joy, my friend and I are one. Sweet flattery, then she loves but me alone. That was Sonnet 42, completely flawlessly read out by me, Mark Chatterley. And I am joined by, I'm running out of adjectives, by smiley, happy, gay in the old sense. I've probably done this introduction before. Dancing and knocking his microphone.
That's, yeah. Thierry Heles.
There we go. I'm going to have to find a thesaurus for some more adjectives. Could I just look up adjectives in a thesaurus and then just find every adjective?
Just whatever comes up. It doesn't even,
doesn't need to make sense.
No, just
the spangly
adjectives that way.
The spangly Thierry Heles. That was Sonnet 42. Did I say that? 42? We're on 42. This one is about women again. Naughty women coming in between Shakespeare and his lover. It's not good.
Well, you say lover, but I think we've been sort of on the wrong track.
You think so? What do you think?
Yeah. Thou dost love her because thou know'st I love her. So I'm getting the feeling that there is a woman and the fair youth slept with her. Mm-hmm. One, Shakespeare had a crush on her.
Yes. But that doesn't account for all of the love poetry he's written to the fair youth. Maybe...
Well, he's still... it started off, the sonnets, with him trying to get the youth to sleep with a girl.
It did, that's true. So that I think that might have happened.
So I have a feeling the youth finally did sleep with a girl, but it was the girl that Shakespeare wanted. or the narrator in this.
Yes. Which is odd, because it puts Shakespeare in this weird position where he seems to like this woman who the youth has slept with or done something with, which is making him upset at the youth. But he is also still in love with the youth. So he's he's the bottom of the V of this triangular relationship, I guess. He loves both parties. And the youth seems to be, or it's suggested the youth is sleeping with the woman or being with the woman just to spite Shakespeare.
It does sound that way. The line I just read, thou dost love her because thou know'st I love her. It does sort of seem...
Yeah.
Well, I know you have a crush on her, but she obviously wants me, so I'm going to go for it.
Yeah, and the next lines, and for my sake, even so doth she abuse me, suffering. And suffering back then was a synonym, was the same word for allowing my friend for my sake to approve her. So yeah, she seems to be... It seems to be a conspiracy, or Shakespeare seems to see it as a conspiracy against him by this woman and the fair youth. That they are both sleeping with each other just to annoy him.
Which is very evil.
It is, and I don't know, does that thing really happen? Would you sleep with someone just to spite someone else that you had no attraction to?
I wouldn't, but I'm certain there are people who are, who would.
Really? I would like to think I don't know anyone who would do that. But then I do know some people who would sleep with anyone given the chance, so, maybe.
I've come across some fairly vile people in my life, and I'm pretty sure some of them have done that.
That would be weird. It would be, I suppose I can see it. I guess I see it as so far removed from something I would do, therefore I see it hard to picture why someone else would do it. Which is I guess the basis for morality, the way you see the world. If you can't picture yourself doing something, then that obviously is
that
wrong.
becomes wrong.
Yeah, which is and the way that people normalize their own behavior. So all bisexual people think everyone's bisexual. There's this. Okay, all bisexual people. I need to clarify this. There is a movement within the bisexual community to suggest that everyone is bisexual, but the people who identify as straight and gay are just identifying with identities, and they're afraid to admit that they like the other half, even if it's just a little bit. But I think that's more to do with you normalize what you see. What's normal for me must be normal for everyone, when that's patently not the case, but a lot of people don't see that, I guess. Which
I think we had that one before. It's quite interesting that even within a community such as the bisexuals, there would still be a prejudice.
Yeah.
Because you think that they're already the outcasts from the society. You'd think that they try to be open rather than coming up with their own prejudices.
But I think they see it as being open. They see it as being so open that other people aren't being open.
But telling other people what they are isn't being open.
Yeah. And it's the same thing. I think it's the same thing when you meet those wonderful American, we can stop you being gay, when they say, being gay is a choice, which instantly implies that they have chosen to be straight, which makes them bisexual. Yeah. And they just have normalized that they think everyone is like them, that everyone is bisexual but has chosen to be straight, as in these pray away the gay, and because that works. Yeah. Praying away the gay.
Obviously, yeah.
And they've done studies. If you give gay men electric shocks every time they're exposed to something sexual, they won't stop being gay, but they'll stop being sexually aroused by gay things. Doesn't make them sexually aroused by straight things. It just means
it just screws them up.
Yeah.
Completely. Just
let's not use conditional programming on people. It's a bad idea.
Unless it's to make people love us. I mean, you and me, just specifically us, this podcast.
Yes. If every time you follow and like this podcast, we will give you a chocolate treat. Ooh, Thierry has frozen. Ah, there he is. But yes, pulling all this back, because these little run-offs do tend to spin off from the sonnets, is that Shakespeare is implying that there's maliciousness on both the fair youth and this woman's part against him, which I think speaks a lot about Shakespeare's character, that he can see people sleeping with each other who don't necessarily love each other just to spite him. Says a lot about that character, I think.
It's quite interesting that his main goal still seems to be to forgive the guy, though. I mean, if I was in that situation and one of my friends did sleep with a girl that I have a crush on, I would just get rid of the friend. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily still chase after the girl, but I would get rid of the friend. Well, friend.
But you don't have a crush on the friend at the same time. And I think that's what makes it different. And
maybe he's just dreaming of a threesome. Just going, well, now that those two have, that opens up the option.
I've been left out. That's what he's upset about, the fact that he's been left out. It's quite. I just wanted to watch, just through the window. I don't even need to be in the same room. That's how Shakespeare talked.
It's quite, because I would have thought polyamory would have been a fairly new concept. Well, I guess we've always had marriages to several people.
Yeah, and even in Christianity, and the whole marriage has been the same forever. Really hasn't.
Well, even within Christianity today, isn't Mormons, aren't they supposed to have several wives?
They technically, according to the
I mean, legally they can't.
Legally they can't, but according to their religious book, they can. But then according to the Bible, you can, because various kings, Christian kings in the Bible, had many, many wives, and they were married to them all, and that was defined as marriage. So you were both married to your wife and your concubine, and there's no issue with that in the Bible. So this whole one man, one woman thing is blown out of the water by their own holy book, which is, I think, brilliant. And
that's basically how it works. They take what they like and
yes,
live by those rules.
And other things that count as marriage. If a man raped a woman, they were married. If your brother's wife, if your brother died and he was married, you would then be married to your sister-in-law. There are various things that define as marriage in the Bible, which we don't count as marriage anymore. Because, we move forward and we change things to suit the current ideals of normality and what is acceptable. We don't keep things in static because that would be stupid. We don't send smoke signals anymore. We use mobile phones.
It would be fairly interesting if we did still stand smoke signals.
It would be quite confusing in cities like London.
Oh, God. You couldn't see it in cities like London.
It seems like London's screaming. Ah! Yes, exactly that. So, yeah, things change. But, yeah, so maybe Shakespeare just felt left out. I think it's more than that. I think he's upset at both the woman, but he's more upset at the fair youth who he wants, but doesn't want, but wants. Maybe.
It is quite interesting, though, because even at the end, the couplet, but here's the joy, my friend and I are one, sweet flattery, then she loves but me alone. I'm not quite buying that.
That links back to the other sonnets we've been reading about how, my heart lives in you, your heart lives in me. That he sees him and the youth as a unit, as one person. They are soulmates, I guess, is what he sees. So,
but it still we had what sonnet was that? Sonnet something 30, 32, 33.
Yeah.
With the word where he uses the word flatter to basically describe a lie.
Yes.
Was it the sweet mountaintops something?
Flatter.
I have seen
the sun.
No,
have
I seen flatter the mountaintops?
Yeah. And
I'm wondering whether flattery here
isn't
actually an honest flattery. It's just.
Yes, maybe.
He's saying then she loves but me alone, but he is not believing it, and he's not even trying to sell it to us, really.
Yeah, I agree with that. Because it is such an odd line to hit to after this sonnet, that after the sonnet he is focusing on the woman rather than the fair youth. Seems very odd to me. She loves me alone, not he loves me alone, or I love him alone. He's flying in the face of all 41 sonnets before this, where he has raised the fair youth up to be his ideal, albeit of the wrong gender, but he still wants this relationship. But suddenly in this one, he wants to be with the woman more than the man. I think, yeah, that speaks of insincerity on Shakespeare's part. And maybe a little bit of him trying to get revenge. He wants revenge sex with the woman to upset the fair youth.
I wonder if that's a concept that they had at the time.
Revenge sex.
Revenge sex.
And whether it's a dish best served cold.
That just makes it sound like necrophilia.
I wasn't thinking like that. I feel like this podcast is getting dirtier and dirtier as we go on. Sorry about that, listeners.
Maybe it's a parody, this sonnet.
Okay.
Because usually sonnets, we've touched upon this, sonnets would have been written for a girl.
Yes.
Whereas this entire series is written for a man. And in this one, he just... I don't know, he just pretends that it's been about this woman all along, which just makes me think maybe he's just making fun of sonnets in general and of himself a bit.
Yeah, that would... Yeah, I can see that, because this one doesn't fit the pattern. I agree. I think this one seems to stand out.
And usually you would have the woman being this unattainable, chaste being who just the narrator never actually got with.
Yeah.
Whereas in this, she's just, I guess today we could call her a slut. She's just sleeping around.
Yeah, she's someone that two people have slept with or want to sleep with.
Yeah.
And in the end, Shakespeare's confident that she loves him. It's the arrogance of it. Yeah, I can see that reading. And I think that's a lovely point to end on. The woman is a slut. That's how
we should say that men can be sluts as well.
Yeah,
we're not using slut as in the
no.
Well, what traditional sense of girls who have sex with anyone are just a slut.
No. And if you want to have sex with lots of people, go ahead. It's your choice.
Just
be
protect
safe.
yourself.
Yeah, be safe while doing it. Exactly. But do it's your own body. Go nuts. Go nuts. Whatever your parents told you. If you want a tattoo of a giant cockatoo across your stomach, get it. It doesn't matter. It's your body. Go wild.
I'm not sure that's good advice to give out, but fair enough.
It will hurt. Over the stomach, a tattoo of a cockatoo will hurt. Not because it's a tattoo of a cockatoo, just because it's a tattoo on the stomach, it will hurt.
Isn't it the closer it is to the heart, the more it hurts?
No. Who told you that?
I can't remember. I might have read that somewhere.
Soft, fleshy skin hurts quite a lot.
Soft, fleshy skin,
and going over where you've essentially got skin over bone hurts a bit. So you want a nice sort of muscly
I guess that makes sense.
Area. Yeah, the pain receptors have nothing to do with how close you are to the heart. Because if that were true, giving someone an electric shock would really hurt.
I guess, yeah.
Maybe that's why they come back to life. Just to go,
It's just all the pain.
All the pain. Maybe you've cracked it. Oh, you sound down now. I didn't mean to laugh at your ignorance. I'm sorry. I'll hide away while you read. I'll hide behind my microphone.
I can be stupid for once. I'm always the smart one.
You are, yeah. It's true. It's true. I'm going to hide behind my microphone while you read.
I'll just, yeah. I just don't do that. I can't concentrate.
That's quite a good look for me, though. This is a really bad visual part of the podcast that no one can see except for us. But it's good. It's good. I'm very funny. I look a bit like
I'll just hold my hand over that part of the screen.
I look like an owl with a mechanical face. Anyway. I'm not doing it now.
It's the same sort of. I cannot laugh. We had that one last time.
We did, yeah. You corpsing on camera, not good.
Sonnet 42. That thou hast her is not all my grief, and yet it may be said I loved her dearly. That she hath thee is of my wailing chief, a loss in love that touches me more nearly. Loving offenders thus I will excuse thee. Thou dost love her because thou know'st I love her, and for my sake even though doth she abuse me, suffering my friend for my sake to approve her. If I lose thee, my loss is my love's gain, and losing her, my friend hath found thy loss. Both find each other, and I lose both twain, and both for my sake lay on me this cross. That does change the meaning. I think I read that as lay me on this cross before.
They're giving him the cross to bear. Yeah.
I actually quite like that line now.
It helps when you read it properly.
Yeah, true. And both for my sake lay on me this cross. But here's the joy, my friend and I are one. Sweet flattery, then she loves but me alone.
Excellent. That was Sonnet 42 of Shakespeare's sonnets. We're getting through them at a hefty pace. I've been Mark Chatterley, and you can follow me on Twitter at Nufkin. And I've been joined, as always, by
Thierry Heles, and you can follow me on Twitter at Sound of Seagulls.
Awesome. And we shall see you again next time for 43.
Goodbye.
Bye. You've been listening to Shakespeare Sonnets with Mark Chatterley and Thierry Heles. This has been an In-Ear Entertainment podcast. To listen to other podcasts or find out more about In-Ear Entertainment, go to www.inearentertainment.com.